Okay. The idea of an atom really was a very old idea. Around 400 BC, there was a thinking exercise that was done. And so this experiment happened in the mind. And one of the things that they talked about in that video was this. What if I had something like gold and I cut it in half? Okay, I got half and half. And that half gets cut in half. And that half gets cut in half. And that half gets cut in half. Could I cut that in half forever? Okay. And after the thought experiment happened, the conclusion was this. Logically, there should be a place in which you can't cut it in half anymore. Okay? There should be one smallest piece that should be indivisible or not being able to be cut. And so the modern term atom is derived from that particular term that he used, undivided, atomos. Okay? And that was really a kind of outrageous idea that actually turned out to be true, and all it was done was a thinking process. Unfortunately, Aristotle didn't like this. And Aristotle's kind of important and famous, and he didn't like this. And so this idea was forgotten for a very long time, rediscovered, rejustified in the 1800s. And it came about because of chemistry that was analyzed. And what happened was, when we looked at how things react, we have one atom and one atom are reacting, and they can react, and I can have a ratio of 1 to 1 of those things, or I can have a ratio of 1 to 2, or I can have a ratio of 2 to 4. But what happened is, there's always whole numbered ratios. It seemed like that there were parts that combined, and they were in whole numbers, so there must be something small, little pieces that were being added, not portions of them. And so that experiment led back to this idea of the atom. Okay? Atoms themselves take up space, they have volume, they have a weight, but they have no charge, and they're neutral. Okay, so we're going to find that atoms, the shape of atoms, are just like little tiny balls or spheres. They take up space, and they have no charge. Okay? And so, took people a long time to figure that out, took people a long time to believe in that. And then a very short time to say, uh-oh, there might be something that disagrees with it. Okay? Now, atoms, more definitely now, are the smallest things that do chemical reactions. That's now how we define them. But there are a couple things that we were discovering that kind of threw a loop into what we're thinking about in terms of the atom. The first thing that came about was the discovery of radioactivity. Okay? When I say radioactivity, what do you think? Good, bad? Bad. Why?
Kills people.
Yeah, it kills people. Yeah, it can give you cancers. Okay? And so, radiation, most people think is bad. Well, here's the problem. Radiation is something that's naturally occurring. Okay? And so it naturally exists. The problem is, it gets dangerous when we concentrate a lot of radioactive material together, and their intensity becomes stronger. And so every time you see a symbol like this, that means the radiation has been concentrated and it becomes dangerous. But you walk outside, you get hit with radiation every day, just little tiny amounts that aren't necessarily harmful through every day. It doesn't raise your risk. Okay, so people were just good with the idea of atoms, and then we discovered radioactivity.